there, welcome to the channel or welcome back. My name is Angela. I'm a home gardener growing in my Zone 6 southwestern Ohio garden here in the US. As you might guess from the snow on the ground, I'm not doing much gardening right now. It's not even time to start seeds yet, and it seems like the garden is so far off into the future at this point, and it can become easy to feel like you're really detached, like, will my garden ever come back? Will it ever be garden season again while we're weathering out this cold weather? And that brings me to the point of today's video. I'd like to talk about some ways that we can stay connected to our garden even when it looks like this outside. If that sounds interesting, stick around. So for me, like, the biggest way I can kind of stay connected to gardening in general is simply by reading the gardening books, watching the gardening channels right here on YouTube. I have a host of garden channels that I watch. I love every single one of them. I'll list some of my favorites in the description below in case you're interested. And one other thing that we can do to stay connected to our garden that may be a little more relevant to ourselves individually is just to start planning. I have started some preliminary garden planning, both in the vegetable garden and in the landscaping garden, and I'll share that with you guys here in the coming weeks. But for me, what I've been missing is being out in my garden. When we had 15 inches of snow on the ground, it was pretty difficult to walk around. It's hard to walk when the snow is that deep. It's kind of melting away slowly as we've gotten some sunlight and some warmer temperatures. And at least it's low enough now, or shallow enough now, that I can walk around in it safely, or at least I feel pretty safe out there. And I thought that I would take you guys along with me as I kind of poke around my garden a little bit for this month. If you'd like to come with me, let's do it. For my own kind of sanity and the way that my brain thinks, I like to be organized and have everything kind of easy to think of and easy to plan and take care of. Kind of have it broken down into zones, and I'm going to start right here by the house because it's the area that I spend the most time in and where I do most of my garden activities, at least, you know, up to this point. That will change this year as I kind of branch out onto the property a little bit, but I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I've got going on here in a bed that's right next to the house. And then I'll give you a peek at the veggie garden and show you what that looks like. There's not much to see there except the snow, but we'll do it. Hang on. So you're going to have to forgive me that I still have some Christmas bows and garland up here. All the Christmas decorations are down inside, but because we had so much snow for so long, it's been kind of hard to work out here. Frankly, it's been kind of hard to walk safely out here until these past few days. And this is my little retaining wall bed here, and I've gotten a lot of stuff planted in here over these past couple of years. Got some sunflower decorations there. This little guy's not wanting to stand up straight, so I'll have to, whoops, nope, there it goes. Okay, that's a job for another day. But right now it doesn't look like much, but I'm going to keep planting in here. This bed gets full sun, very, very much full sun. So I've got the sun-loving perennials here, and they are mostly all native plants. There are a few that are not native. I might consider taking those out. I've got a bunch of plants in pots that I had picked up. Oh, hang on, I think we've got Amazon coming. So yes, indeed, that was our Amazon driver here to drop something off. What would we do without Amazon these days? But back to my garden here. I've got some things that I had picked up in the fall last year, and I just haven't planted those. Those will go in this spring. Of course, I will share with you guys what all of those plants are as I put them in. And let's move up back to the front of the house here. That's actually the first driver that's been able to get down the driveway just because it's been so slick, icy, snowpacked, treacherous. We have four-wheel drive vehicles, so we didn't have any issues getting out. or in, thankfully. But none of the drivers have wanted to come back down here, been able to, and of course I do not blame them one bit. So we've been having them leave everything up at the mailbox up at the front of the property. So I'm walking pretty slowly because there's still some crunchy ice on the ground, and I'm not going to go into the veggie garden, which is right over in there, because there's a gully. It kind of dips down right there, and I am afraid I'm just going to slide right down there. So there's my beloved veggie garden just waiting for me. And you may have heard me talk, if you've been hanging out with me anytime recently, that I'm not going to do a big veggie garden this year, and that is still true. But of course I'm going to do a handful of things because I can't not. One of my areas where I'm going to focus heavily on planting is this ridge right here. I can't tell if it's evident that it's a ridge from the video, but I'll bring you over to the other side of it. So there's a depression there. It's a creek. It's a dry creek, unless it's heavy raining. But it flows right under the bridge there and dumps out into our pond over there. But at the top of it, there is this ridge, all this area here, where I've got a couple of trees that I started last year, protected. There's 2 of them, and I'm going to heavily plant this. This is going to be a main area of focus for me this coming year. It's going to be a sunny perennial and shrub bed. I may stick a couple of arborvitaes in there. I'm still kind of planning that out, and I'm really excited about it. It does pretty much get full sun. You look back towards the house, the sun comes up on the other side of the house in the corner back there, kind of moves over the house, and it sets just to the left of this sunny ridge here. So it gets a lot of sun, which makes it easy to find plants for, thankfully. I am planning to spend a good chunk of my efforts regarding the veggie garden just kind of doing some soil, building the soil back up. It really, really needs it. And we're getting mud now once the snow melts. I don't know if you guys can see, you can hear the squishy mud there. That's what happens. I'm sure the earth needs it. We had such a drought last year. The earth definitely needs all this moisture. And one other area where I'm going to focus pretty heavily on this year is a little further out. So I'm kind of starting to really focus my efforts further away from the house. Before, I hadn't really done much in those areas, and we've lost a lot of trees over the years. But there's a big open space right here where I do have some trees planted that I've planted the last couple of years. And what I plan to do is just to start filling in between the trees with shrubs, perennials, and make it more of a garden and not just a collection of trees. This guy here is a spice bush, and this one's a white oak. That one will take forever to grow up. Valuable tree though. And this is an elderberry. We've got a honey locust here. I think that one will grow up a little bit more quickly than the oak, although I've never had a honey locust tree, so I really couldn't say, just from what I've read. This guy's a maple tree, and then a little further down, there's another maple tree there. So my thoughts and plans are to plant in and amongst these trees, and maybe make some pathways and put a bench or two, something like that, and just make it really more of a garden rather than just a piece of land with some random trees on it. So I know it's going to take a while for all that to grow up, but that's my goal and my dream. So I'm going to really focus on that this year. And thinking kind of far into the future, or not, depending on how ambitious I get. We're walking across the driveway here, just to give you an orientation. The house is there. There is, following along the driveway, a long ridge that goes almost all the way down. I have dreams of putting supports in place, like arbors. Are they called arbors? Like the wooden posts with cow panels, trellises, that's the word I'm looking for, and doing grapevines and berries all along this ridge here. I think that they'll get enough sun here, and of course have to start small, and I'll have to think about whether that is even a good idea, because beyond that ridge are some patch of woods and the deer hang out in those woods. So if I were to do berries or grapes or anything like that, I'd need some serious protection. So more on that later. Like I mentioned, that's kind of pretty far out into the future. Big dreams. Doesn't hurt to have big dreams. And walking back up towards the house, I'm still working on this area here. I've gotten some plantings in and just slowly adding to it over the years. Sometimes I get impatient, but then I think that doing it slowly like that is maybe the best way, because then you can see what works and what doesn't work and kind of add to it, adjust it as you go. Kind of like decorating your house. It's nice to do it all at once, but I kind of think that doing it a little at a time allows you to reevaluate things, make the right decisions and the best choices. So that's my thought on that, or at least I tell myself that, because I can't do anything but go slowly just due to budget constraints and time and energy and so forth. And until the next one, thank you so much for hanging out with me out here in the snow. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.